Welcome to the First and Inches podcast, where every play counts and every take hits hard. Right. David is repping the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs. George bleeds black and gold for Steeler Nation, and AP is still waiting on the Vikings to show up in February. We're breaking down the biggest stories in football, baseball, and anything in between. We're calling it like we see it, and no fan base is safe. Touchdown! This is the First and Inches podcast.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
It's real. Hello and welcome to First and Inches podcast. This is the first of hopefully more than one. If you have stumbled upon this, the algorithm is probably mad at you, or one of us made you listen to us. But welcome and thank you for tuning in or watching us on YouTube, wherever you are. We'll let you know how you can find us at the end of the podcast. My name is Jorge Diaz. Here with me, we want you guys to introduce yourselves right away. Adam.
Hey, everyone. Big Cincinnati Reds fan, Minnesota Vikings, here to talk about what's good, what's hot in sports. Hooks?
Hey, life is tough for me. I'm a Dodgers, Lakers, Chiefs fan. And my, obviously I cheer for the Thunder since I live in the city. They're doing pretty well this year. And my least favorite team is the Steelers, who's Jorge's favorite team.
Man, the riches of being a Chiefs and Dodgers fan. But I'm Jorge. As you can tell, I'm a Knicks fan. Let's go all the way. Also, Mets fan and Steelers fan. So just to give you an idea, I really hate a few teams. Baltimore Ravens with a passion. So my true yellow and gold, black and gold comes through. Nobody likes the Dodgers, but I also don't like the Yankees. Let's go Mets. When it comes to basketball, I mean, I don't have really a team that I hate. I must say, maybe I still hate the Indiana Pacers from back in the day, but this new Pacer team's got something to deal with. So hopefully this will be our year. Well, you know what? With the NBA playoffs right now going on, I think we should dive in right into what's going on in the NBA world.
So, I want to talk about this. So, you got the Knicks, who's Jorge's team, playing the Pacers. I don't know, did y'all see the guy, the Pacer fan, after the Knicks won the last round?
Getting trash bag.
So, I think there may be some punishment for the Knicks from up above. But what I really hope for is the Thunder Knicks, because I saw a comment earlier this week that said the Hicks versus the Knicks. So the Oklahoma City Hicks versus the Knicks. I want that to happen. I want it to be a reality. I want to see that on SportsCenter, them using that line.
I think that if they make the finals, we should go to a game. I'll get you a T-shirt that said Hicks. Hooks the Hick. There you go. Hooks for Hicks.
The Hick. Yeah.
Who would you take in that series?
Me, I think the Thunder have so much talent from top to bottom, and limitless amount of draft picks still remaining. I trust in Presti that he's going to make the right decisions with those picks, but Brunson's obviously made the difference for the Knicks.
If you asked me 2 weeks ago, considering that, Cat at center can overpower Holmgren, I would have told you, there's no way that the Thunder have a chance. But after they handle the Joker this past 2 weeks, man, they do have a chance, and the Thunder really can put it together. They run that floor, I mean, like no other team. And when they get a turnover and when they're in transition trying to come from behind, they're relentless. I haven't seen another team do that this year.
Yeah, they've got that guy that played for New York, Hartenstein, that will help with that. So, funny story is we were watching the game the other day, and a friend was like, "Who's that white guy?" And it's like, Hartenstein's not white. I don't know if y'all have ever found that out or looked at that.
Yeah, you see his salary too, $30 million a year.
No, his dad's black.
I did not know that.
So going into tonight, Jorge, what do you got? What's your feeling? Best of 7? How do you think it's going to play out? No
I really don't
bias.
know. Just hoping for the best because the Pacers obviously are on a roll. So playoffs are playoffs. You can get streaky and nobody can stop you. So we'll see what games 1 and 2 tell us, just like they did against Boston. If Indiana can win some dirty games or just a couple of blowouts happen, then Knicks have no chance. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Knicks had a tough series to be like down by 20 points just about every game at some point and come out of those. I mean, that takes a toll on you. I don't know if they can continue doing that to into a championship. So.
Yeah, but the thing about NBA, right? 1 or 2 guys could lead that entire series. So it's more the emphasis is on those 2 guys more so than the actual flow of the game. With that said, is there anybody that you think they should who's going to be playing hard? I mean, for the Pacers that you're anxious against?
No, I mean, I think Pacers have played as a complete team. So it could be anybody that can really make the difference. I think when was
the last time the Knicks were in the semifinals?
We're not going to talk about that. That's not important. So
how old were you the last time they won a championship?
Yeah.
We're not talking about that either. That's for the next episode.
I was 2. So, hey, did you think, let me ask you for real, did you think that the Knicks were going to beat the Celtics?
No, not at all.
No. Well, it was Tatum going down, though, even if it would have gone to that. I mean, even if he wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Down 3-1 with Tatum in the lineup.
Yeah, right. No, I didn't think that would happen. But again, it builds character when you're a Knicks fan or a Mets fan for that matter. We're just hoping, hey, maybe they'll make the playoffs and it'll be cool to watch them in May. But yeah, I didn't expect this to happen. Just like any year, they make it, they're going to be bounced, and it is what it is. And next year we'll figure out the roster and give it a run. But yeah, they've come deeper than I expected them to. That's for sure.
Is there a salary cap in the NBA?
There's got to be, right?
Yeah, there definitely is. There's like different levels of being in the luxury.
But there's not an artificial ceiling like there is in baseball. Whenever you hit that luxury tax. So you're not capped. Like NFL, you're capped, right? It's at 260,
it's not a hard cap, but it's a penalty point and then a point where you hit that second level that you cannot sign another player.
So tell me, with Hardenstein, how does that guy get 30 some odd million a year? When I watched him last night, nothing to suggest that guy is worth that kind of contract. I don't even understand the NBA and their salaries. Like I do baseball, NFL, you could justify those. And I know there's 14 players, right, on a team. So how is a guy like him getting 30 million a year? What's so special about him?
Well, the Thunder aren't paying anybody real money, but because all their players are on their rookie deals, Chet and K-Dub are both on their rookie deals. SGA's on his second deal, but it's not, he's 30, 35 million. So it's not like they're paying, they can pay role players right now. Eventually they won't be able to pay all of those players.
Yeah. The cap in the NBA is about 155. Somehow the Thunder are, well, I guess with the moves, going up and down at about 167. But yeah, Hardenstein making 30 million. I didn't know that. Shea's making 35.
Don't hold me to that. I think I'm double checking myself. But yeah. So when there's max contracts, right? So how does that work?
30 is not max contract. That's just it was a luxury signing that they had more money to pay than other people.
Yeah, it drops off after that. You got people making 16, 12, 10, 10, and then everybody else is, Caruso at 9 million and everybody else below that. So
yeah, so his current contract, I'm looking at it right here. They signed 3 years, 87 million. He signed that in July of last year, right? So it's 30 million for the 24-25 season. Next year he drops down to 28.5. This is Hardenstein. So the NBA kind of throws me a little bit because when I look at a guy that's averaging 11 points a game, right? I think that's what he was at. Yeah. Well, and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. But still, yeah, that's quite the salary to play for a guy like him. So I was asking, what makes him – is there anything that he brings outside of just the facade of a double-double? Not dismissing that. I'm just –
Well, you can't play Chet, 40 minutes a game. So you have to have somebody that can really give you some defense, and the value is in defense for the most, in my opinion,
for these guys,
because that big body, and I mean, you got an extra 6 real good fouls down there, but that big body in the lane,
he's a big boy.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I'll give you an idea. Like Dorian Finney-Smith went to the Lakers because of his defense. He's making $15 million because of his defense. His 3-point shooting got better, but they're paying premium for good defense in the NBA. You could tell defense can win championships. The Thunder, they had a terrible first half, in my opinion. I mean, not a Thunder-like first half last game. And then the second half, they play real defense, and that's what got them to where they got. I mean, they got so many turnovers. So
that's true. That's a great point because last night that game, the game one, Denver was all over the place, losing the ball, and there was a lot of hustle, a lot of aggressiveness with OKC. So I can totally see that. Hard to get my mind in the right space to justifying these NBA contracts, right? And I guess I've got to remember that it's spread across 14 guys as opposed to 26 in baseball, 55 in football. Yeah. So you make a good point that I don't consider. NBA is not my thing. I don't know it in detail. So it's a good point. And he is a big boy, 7 foot, 250.
So he basically was just a luxury pick that most teams couldn't afford. That's how the Thunder got him.
Right.
But, second round pick.
Let's
by
go.
The Rockets.
As we're going to spend the majority of our time talking about football and baseball on this podcast, let's go ahead and finish up this conversation about SGA. And I don't know how much, Adam, I don't know how much you've heard, but SGA is going to win the NBA MVP today.
Yeah, I read that.
So Jokic or SGA?
Well, before we started, I said I liked the Joker. When I I'm a stats guy, baseball, that's my thing. When I look at win shares, this should be number 5 for the Joker, average to triple-double through the season as a center. I can't imagine in any world that doesn't automatically make you the MVP. So your guys are going to have to really articulate to me how SGA can beat out the Joker. This should be 5 years in a row because they gave it to Joel Embiid. And when you go back and look at those stats, I think they just like the years LeBron was winning it, and they gave it to Derrick Rose, right? Yeah. Remember that one year he got that spot up MVP? That didn't make sense. And in no way does that.
So are the voters just trying to spread the love or what?
That's exactly what they're doing. They're spreading the love.
I mean, they shouldn't be doing that, right?
No, they shouldn't. It should go to the number one player.
Yeah.
And you're okay, Hooks, SGA or Joker?
Listen, the Thunder had let's let Jorge go first to see how we close this out.
I gotta at least make a case for SGA, okay? Because the Thunder, while they have more weapons than say Denver or Milwaukee, definitely than Milwaukee, they are a young team. They really are a very young team that without leadership, it would just be a bunch of good players just running up and down the court. And I think SGA provides that to the Thunder. And you can't deny they have the best record in the league. Now, if you want to go by points, I get Jokic got finished with a triple-double and all that. But what could SGA have finished with? Jokic was in the top 3 in minutes for the league. SGA wasn't even in the top 25. So Oklahoma City had a lot of blowouts, and SGA could have just put up a bunch of points and stats like Westbrook used to, and then made a bigger point of being the MVP. So I think, in my opinion, SGA does deserve it as well.
Yeah. So my take on SGA is he won't win another one and unless they win a couple more championships or a couple of championships.
Yeah.
It's kind of if the Joker had won the championship last year, it probably would have said, "Hey, having a dominant year, won a couple championships." But the reality is SGA is probably the greatest trade pickup, if not of all time, but definitely one of the top ever in the NBA.
Have you guys looked at that trade? How that all went down?
It's absolutely
that was a mortgage of the future. There is, I'm pulled this up here. I'm going to count this out. First round picks. Now I know it's a little different in basketball. 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, all first round picks.
Two of them,
and
were
that was
swap
with the
tra-
three-team
swap
trade,
picks.
right? With the Clippers and Hornets.
Yeah, but the Thunder
read
came
that
out
right?
with four. In that right? I think two of them are trade swaps.
Say that again.
I think two of them are trade swaps. I think it was
Yeah.
4 actual first round picks and then 2 that they could upgrade. I'm not positive on that. We
Yeah.
have to come back to that.
That's
It's like the whole league is playing checkers and Sam Presti's playing chess over there.
Yeah.
yeah. He gave
Okay,
up a lot.
as you
Yeah,
can
some of
see
these
with my
guys.
Thunder-
Look, Trey Mann, Jalen Williams, Dylan Jones. These are some of the guys, and that that was for Paul George. That was all centered around the Paul George. Yeah,
Yep.
it's bizarre.
So, all right, let's talk about baseball. I know that we've talked a bunch about basketball, and I love basketball, but let's talk. I want to throw this one out here first because I feel like Adam needs to vent here. So,
here we go.
so they said the lifetime ban on baseball is only valid until the person dies.
It doesn't make any sense.
So Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, they're dead. Tell us what you think.
Well, this isn't the Hall of Fame for the moral compass. This isn't the Hall of Fame for, because he said sticking up for Boston. This is the Hall of Fame for being one of the best, if not the best damn hitter that we've ever seen, that played the game all the way from start to finish. I can't see in any world, just because he bet on his team to win, which we know there are a lot of other pricks out there that are betting to win, namely trainers, right? Trainers, not players. Trainers that are getting
Translators.
Allegedly.
Translators. Yeah, allegedly. So again, yes, you could I could see the argument being made that. Let me back that up. Okay. First of all, David Ortiz was a steroid user, HGH user.
Allegedly.
Right. If he wasn't everybody's best friend and cussed whenever he said, what was it? We're fucking Boston, right? After the marathon shooting. If he wasn't infectious with a great personality, his ass would not be in the Hall of Fame. Not because he's absolutely warranted for his efforts, for his output. He was a tremendous player. Okay. But that all got thrown under the rug, just like all the bullshit in politics, because somebody is a prick. And that's the reason why they held out Pete Rose. That's the only reason. If Pete Rose was not an asshole, he would have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. It is not because he bet on baseball. That is bullshit. They're just saying because he bet, just like Trevor Bauer. What was that kid? What was that guy's name? I should have this looked up. He smacked around his old lady and his girlfriend, the pitcher, relief pitcher.
L.A. David LaCruz.
Huh?
Allegedly.
Well, hey,
You got to be more specific. There's so many of them. Ozuna just did that too.
Yes, Ozuna, but he yeah.
It was the pitcher from the Reds.
He gets the fattest. Look at what let me tell you.
Went to the Cubs. What was his name? Threw the ball really fast.
I don't know.
Oh. Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of history here. Aroldis Chapman. Oh, he was with the Reds. Supposedly, allegedly. We don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not taking anybody's side. He fired off 6 shots in his garage because he was pissed off at his old lady, right? Okay. The Reds dump him to the Yankees. 4 guys, nobodies. Rookie Davis was the best player that came out of that. Big pitcher, pitched like 5 games, 6 something ERA. The Yankees then held on to him, got to the playoffs, traded him to the Cubs, got Gleyber Torres, right? And another guy. And then they, at the end of that run with the Cubs, they won the World Series with Aroldis Chapman, right?
I was there.
For real, you were?
Game 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Me and my wife were there.
Oh, so okay. So and then the Yankees re-signed him. My point, the point is Aroldis Chapman didn't come across as an asshole, maybe because it was the language barrier. I don't know. He was still a great pitcher, right? He still got the contracts. They had value there. The Reds dumped him at the worst possible time because they wanted to wipe their hands from him. My point is that's as much more egregious act than betting on baseball. If Pete Rose would have not been an asshole.
Whoa. Okay. Chiefs had a similar situation with Kareem
Tyreek
Hunt.
Hill.
No, he didn't. No.
He punched
Kareem
he punched his girlfriend in the pregnant belly, right?
That is absolutely not true. Allegedly. But Kareem Hunt definitely,
when he drop kicked that
video,
cow. Yeah.
lied and they traded him or cut him immediately. So, but kicking a girl, allegedly hitting a girl, is against the law.
Yeah.
Betting on baseball is one of the few rules that it says when you walk in the locker room of every MLB clubhouse.
Okay, totally agree. I'm not debating that. I'm saying that if it wasn't, Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame because he bet on baseball or whatever. He was not in the Hall of Fame because he was an asshole, just like Barry Bonds, just like Roger Clemens. Both of those guys, A-Rod, if they weren't, let me tell you, I guarantee you, Alex Rodriguez, before he dies, will get put in the Hall of Fame. Nobody's done a 180 for their career and perception in the world than what A-Rod has done. When he went to the broadcast booth, everybody loved him. And but remember when he was on his way out? I mean, towards the end, they hated him. He was a bum.
I think he's still going to have to die to get in.
I don't know. I'm just saying that I'm not debating that I'm not debating Pete Rose does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because he bet on baseball. That was wrong. I'm saying the reason why he isn't is because he was an asshole.
Well, they have these rules. And I mean, every sport is different. You can't, football aside, because football, you could play with however many felonies. There's not a moral thing there. But when it comes to the rules of baseball and the unwritten rules specifically, that was a thing. And he knew it was wrong. He did it anyway, right? We don't argue that he bet on his team to win and everybody should do that or would do that. If he bet on his team to lose, he wouldn't have the numbers he has. I get it. Great. But he broke the rules. So they have to make an example out of him. Otherwise, the rules don't mean shit, right?
No, I agree. But I'm saying, though, they would make concessions and they would have got him into the Hall of Fame.
So you think if he admitted to it 15 years ago when they asked him, you think they would have lifted the ban back then?
Correct. It's not a position. Major League Baseball is horrible about this, just like any sport, because it's a business. It's not a position of him breaking the rules. Not at all. He fucked up. He was wrong. The position is that he never admitted to it. He never showed remorse. Yeah. So baseball, just like the NFL and basketball, it's not about it's virtue signaling. All they want to show is power. Like, hey, I got this guy to admit it. He was wrong. We'll give him redemption because we can hold that power. That's the only reason.
If he makes it, like, what happens now? Does he make it on the ballot?
Yeah, I don't know how the logistics
it'll have
work.
to go through the senior group.
Okay. So if there's an opportunity, is he going to get voted in?
No, I don't think so. Not with because again, those guys, well, not them directly, right? Because those guys are probably retired, dead, and gone. Yeah. but it's all about having your boys back. So I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, yes, people argue that he broke the rules, and that's the reason why he's got in. But didn't get in. But that's not really it. What's really it is because he was an asshole. That's it.
Yeah. Now, does the Hall of Fame mean? I mean, it means a lot to the players when they're alive. He obviously is not here anymore. As fans, should we care as much? Like, I personally don't care if he's in or not. I think he's one of the greatest players.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's enough for me.
I get that from a like having from a neutrality standpoint. For me, a Reds fan, it means a lot to me. I want him in the Hall of Fame for my own fandom. Right now, he played before I was around. I mean, before I was really could digest and understand baseball. So I can't have a true appreciation, but I look at it in an arrears type sense. But yes, from a Reds fan standpoint and maybe a baseball purist like myself, it absolutely means the world to me.
You can't dilute the Hall of Fame, though. At some point, you can't just let anybody in because they were the best one on their era or anything like that. Like, you have to, because if you put another shortstop in there next year, you're going to have to compare them to other shortstops in the history of the game, right?
Right.
They need to stack up. So it's not like just anybody should get into it because whatever, number of championships or things like that anymore.
Yes, I 100% agree. You're precisely right. One thing I will say, though, if you revolutionize the game, meaning if you change the dynamic of the game, again, I'm going to be biased here.
If you bet on baseball?
No, I'm saying Joey Votto, for example, right?
I thought you were talking about Ellie De La Cruz already.
Not yet. Give me a little bit. I'll get there. So you go on to Votto, right? He was sabermetrics darling, right?
Hold on. Hold on. I'll let you finish, but when I was driving home today on the radio, they were talking about Mike Trout is turning into Joey Votto because he's hitting like 200 with 12 home runs in 59 games.
Yeah.
So
you want to? Oh, well, okay. Hold that thought. Let me just say this. So you take a guy like Votto, that's a sabermetrics darling, which the entire game from an offensive profile, the weighted runs created plus, OPS plus, right? It was Votto that helped headline that whole entire way of looking at baseball, how we perceive value in baseball, right? It was Joey Votto, and I'd argue with anybody in this, that helped lead, and he was the guy. Because I'm going back to this popularity. He was a great guy. He was easy to root for. He was animated, all the different things. So you take that, going back. So for example, say you got busted for doing steroids, or say you got busted for, there would be forgiveness there because of what he did for the intangibles of the game. Now, going back to the Trout thing, I'm going to tell you the parallels that he has with Griffey in terms of their age and their injuries and their offensive profile, how it's completely tanked because of how it's really fallen off. It's the exact. It's eerily similar. Now, Trout's a better player than Griffey, but I think that there's a lot of similarities when you look at their age, peak, and then them hitting the floor. Anyway, sorry.
So what about? So you're a big defender of Pete Rose. What about shoeless Joe Jackson?
I don't know how his relationship was with the well, I guess what would the media be? Four guys.
The newspaper back then.
Yeah, the newspaper back then, right? So, baseball can act like they're super black and white, and how they want to, what they want to stand on. They want to stand on convictions and ceremony that this is what we're about. When that's all bullshit. It's all about power. So I don't know about Cecilia's show. I don't know how, but I can tell you this. If he was popular in the two newspapers that were published back then, and maybe the one beat writer that probably, I don't know, then I think
he only would have been popular with the people that helped him, throw that paid him for throwing games or whatever. That's a different story. I mean, it's one thing to bet on you. It's another thing to
actually tank.
Yeah, to lose a World Series for money or whatever. I mean, maybe it wasn't all for money. I don't really know. Hooks, you were alive back then. You tell us. But,
can you tell us a little bit about it?
Maybe they had some dirt on him. I don't know. Whatever it is, or he was trying to find his way out of something.
So I know that he had the only home run in that World Series and hit hit in the three somethings.
Yeah.
So clearly, if he was throwing the World Series, would he hit?
Well, you got to fail when it counts, So hit a home run here, and then you just don't do it when it counts. I don't know. Hit it when it doesn't count. Now, let me go back, tell you a little story, because you talked about Joey Votto this and Joey Votto that. Was he like approachable and a good, fans loved him and all that, right? My coach, Rob, he's probably going to listen to this soon. He got his autograph. I think it was last year or a year before when he was doing rehab here in Tampa, in Clearwater. He got his autograph at a Hooters bathroom, of all places.
Didn't sign the sweet spot, right?
I don't know, but the ball came out a little moist. I don't know what's happening. He's like, "Hey, can I hold that for you while you sign my ball, Mr. Votto?"
Yeah.
So he was very proud of that ball.
That's awesome. Well, that's a great story.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. So
my honest take is if you bet on baseball, I feel like you've broken a rule that's like, it's an unforgettable written rule of baseball. If you took steroids, took human growth hormones, Barry Bonds, best hitter of all time in baseball, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. As a Dodgers fan, I didn't even hate the guy. He just was so good. So I think the steroids are more forgivable because they were probably doing what a third of the league was doing at the same time, allegedly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I mean, I'm very old school. I still don't like people pimping home runs and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I can get behind the whole steroid era situation kind of being overlooked because, we only know of a few people that were doing it. We don't know everybody that was doing it, and I guarantee you a lot more were doing it. So
same thing could be said about gambling, betting on baseball, right? So we
Hold on,
we
Pete
don't
Rose
know.
admitted to gambling on baseball.
Well, hey, listen. Here's what I'm saying: is that it's a super gray, ambiguous line that we cannot definitively say that he should not go in. I'm meaning that, again, I go back to the steroid thing. Everybody's like, I think that Bonds should be in because he is the greatest hitter of all time, right? But again, it's all subjective to that perception of whomever's deciding. It's a power thing, though. Again, I go back to it. It has nothing to do with it being the written rules or unwritten rules in baseball, in my opinion.
Let's finish up. I know we've talked a little bit about baseball. We'll definitely talk more about it, but let's talk a little bit about football and what's going on this week, because there's been the owners' meetings are going on. I know Jorge's gone to the baseball owners' meetings, but hasn't made the NFL. Maybe next year's the year for you to be there.
I only went to the draft. It was a pretty cool draft this year. It was my first time going to the draft.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get in the tent. I got to work my way up to be in the tent.
Yeah, I was looking for you there.
I was on the outside looking in, but we'll see
What's something, Jorge? What's something about being there live that maybe that we guys like Hooks and I don't know about, like from the draft, like the whole entire experience?
I mean, it was just a different dynamic. Like if you think of going to a tailgate, like in Kansas City, we would go to tailgate and you have a ton of Chiefs fans tailgating, and then you have a couple groups of the other team. Well, imagine a tailgate where every team has their own little group. So I don't know. It's just more lively. You know what I mean? Yeah. The anticipation is one thing, but it all dies after the first round. Nobody cares about what's going on in rounds 2 and 3. Yeah, nobody really cares after pick number 10, really, to be honest. It's all kind of like, oh, what's left? But the atmosphere before that is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be there because you see everybody in their element, with their groups, sort of like if you did a tailgate, that's kind of how it felt to me.
So 32 tailgates going on.
Yeah, pretty much. And you got, your different levels of tailgate. Like I was over here with like, hey, we got some hamburgers and all that kind of tailgate. And then the people in the tent is like, they have this $1 million RVs with the 30 TVs and all that, cater food. It's like that kind of group of tailgaters in there. So it's pretty cool though.
So, Adam, what what's your take on the tush push?
Well, I don't see any reason why it should be abolished. I don't see it. It's just a dynamic of the game. If you, here's the deal. If you can't adapt and change, like why are we conceding to a play and change? It's the same way I don't think that the shift should have been banned in baseball, right? That whole entire dynamic, it's the same thing, right? If you can't adapt, if that's the way to win, then everybody should do that, right? Why isn't everyone doing the tush push? Why isn't everyone playing smart baseball by pulling the guys around on that shift, right? If it's all within, it's just like what's wrong with society, right? You have this, not to get down the road, but why should we change because the underprivileged, or example, like because the Reds were terrible. They were terrible. They did not adapt to it, outside of a few hitters. So why should the rules be changed so that it changes the scope of the game? Same thing with the tush push, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I think figure a way to stop it, or
Stop
don't
it.
be a 3rd and 1.
Right.
Why change it because they know how to do it and you don't, or
Figure it out.
Was it Gordon from Denver say, "Oh, we need like an extra day of rest"? It's like, no, you're all athletes. Yeah, you're going to be tired. So is the other team. So maybe they're in better shape than you. Why should we give you extra rest because they're in better shape than you? No.
Right.
If you can't stop that 3rd and short, then don't let them go 3rd and short. Whatever.
The minority should not rule. I mean, the minority should not rule in this case. It's saying like the Eagles, right? They should not rule, and because they are dominant at it, they should not strip that play away. Same thing, like the Dodgers. Brilliant organization, brilliant. But there's the narrative out there, right? That well, I mean, they do spend a lot of money, but they do it within the confines of the rules. I don't feel like there should be a salary cap because the Dodgers are a lucrative, smart, forward-leaning franchise. It's the Reds' job to figure that out, right? It's the Reds' job to figure out how to be competitive. And, look, the Dodgers have won some World Series, right? But it's a lot changes when you get in that best of 5 or best of 7, right? So that's all thrown out the door because the dynamic of the playoffs is completely changed and what can happen.
That's a good topic to add for another day. So, all right. So for one, I told you guys that I didn't want us all to agree on something every time. I can't argue on the tush push. I mean, it's not, it should be legal. I mean, like just because they have a quarterback that can squat, I don't know, 600-700 pounds and, they're willing to put him out there. I mean, like, I'm sure Josh Allen can do that, but they're not willing to push him from behind. Now, the shift in baseball is absolutely ridiculous. Like, that should have been banned. It's not baseball then. But we can come back to that one another time as well. So.
Yeah, we're getting up there on time. What do we want to cover? Did we want to talk a little bit about the flag football in Olympics?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that, and we can and then we can bow it up and put a bow on it, and then
why is football even in the Olympics?
Yeah, I don't know. I look again. It's a participant. Look, because it's money. It's money. That's the only reason why. It's money. Well, not for the players, right? The players obviously would want an Olympic medal. I would want an Olympic medal.
Money for who? How many countries are going to be doing football anyway? Like, how many countries play football right now? 3?
Well, think about but it's not a direct impact, but it's a recoil impact, right? So all these people that maybe not normally watch the NFL, you're going to market them in front of these every 4 years. And then look at what they see. They see a guy like Justin Jefferson, they see a guy like him. So guess what? Maybe that Adam Parker, that might not be a big fan. All of a sudden they're like, hey, I love this guy, man. I'm going to tune in. All of a sudden, in my opinion, it's an indirect monetary push, if you will.
I honestly, I mean, obviously it's not going to happen until 28. I don't see any NFL player willing to put their career on the line for a gold
Flag
medal
football.
in a flag football game. I was listening to some guys the other day, and I'm going to steal their idea, but they suggested that like the people that were retiring that year in football. So, if 3 years from now, Kirk Cousins is hanging him up, that he goes in and does that, where it's not somebody that's going to lose their livelihood. Because, an NFL average lifespan's 3-4 years. I don't think anybody's really going to do that.
They kind of do it in the Pro Bowl, though, right? Because they kind of have a little bit, but I mean, a lot of guys drop off, out of that Pro Bowl, and there's a lot of third, fourth string type guys. I think it dilutes the game. I don't think from a competitive, like it will do no justice for the NFL and their brand, other than grabbing more interest globally.
But the Pro Bowl, I mean, they're not going.
It's not a game anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? No, that's what I'm saying. And I don't think the flag football would be a game either, because I think it's just a global grab, because the NFL is like, because look at it, with this stupid ass overseas robbing teams of home games by doing it in England or Mexico City or wherever, right? And we're got to wake up as a Vikings fan. You got to wake up at 7:30, 8:30 in the morning.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row, because not just, again, I'm not faulting the NFL or baseball or anybody for that matter, but don't stand on ceremony like this is for the game, it's in the integrity of the game or whatever. It's all about money, which if I was running it, if I was whomever, then I would say, yeah, I would do it. I see why they're doing it, but I don't think it does anything for the brand other than create more interest to grab money.
Yeah,
I agree. But maybe this is an opportunity. Maybe we go in and sell the idea to, I don't know, Iraq or whatever. Hey, we're going to teach you how to play flag football. We can coach, pay us a gazillion dollars, and we'll fill the team for the Olympics.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jorge, you want to go ahead and start wrapping this one up?
Yeah.
Tell us where to go
let's
from
wrap
here.
it up.
We're all virgin podcasters.
Now, let me ask you a question, though. So before we get off the topic of football, what do you think the records will be for your team this year?
So I just did this with a couple of guys.
I don't think you and I can do it, though. We don't even know who our quarterback's going to be.
Yeah. So I did it, and I don't mind sharing it. 12-5. 12-5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which division are you playing? Which conference division team are y'all playing? You don't get the AFC South again.
Oh, well, let me tell you this. Let me go back, because I know that's an aggressive 12-5. Their defense will be a top 3. You can write. I don't know what we're going to call it. It's going to be measure that for first and inches. Measure that out. You can take it for what top 3 defense, Minnesota Vikings, and that's what's going to take them to 12-5. Top 3.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Steelers 9-8 winning record.
Hold on. If they have Aaron Rodgers, what's the record?
9-8.
9-8.
What's their record with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback?
9-8.
9-8.
Wow.
I agree with Jorge.
Wow.
It doesn't matter. 9-8.
That dude does not lose the game for you. He won't win it, but he won't lose it for you. So 9-8.
Big. He was probably on that football field right above my head whenever that picture was taken. So, man, I really don't do a whole lot of picking my own team win-loss record, but I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs. I mean, I think they're
going to lose on Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll see you there. Maybe I won't.
No, not at
Hey,
those.
are we going to try and go to
prices.
that Dallas Vikings game?
That one would be cheaper.
I'm down. Let's go.
Let's figure out. We're going to
So
take our old ladies, or are they going to slow us
out
down?
there. I'll throw a number 11-6.
11. Well, okay. That's not a great year, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
December 14th, I think, is the Vikings game. We should go. Let's do that.
Okay.
And one question: who is the quarterback with
You're talking not between our teams, right? You're talking league wide, correct?
Let me Google this. 500
Jorge, I think
NFL?
Did Jorge freeze?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to say Josh Allen.
I'm going to say Matthew Stafford.
These are my losses real quick, because I think Jorge is frozen, right?
Hey, what's up?
Dude, our power went out.
Oh, his power went out. Hey,
Okay.
we're going to go ahead and
Clip
finish it up here.
Yeah.
Jorge will be back next week. His wife came in and really wanted to see him. So,
Hey.
y'all have a good
thanks,
day.
guys. We'll
Do it. I'll edit it. Whatever.
yeah.